Hello everyone, Josh first back again with some more Overhit, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to synthesize 5-star gear. Basically, it's a crafting system for this game when it comes to gear. There are going to be a few things that we want to talk about and discuss before we jump right into it. That way you guys are well aware of the differences and how to go about approaching different obstacles that you may find yourself in when trying to make 5-star gear. First, we're going to go ahead and go up to inventory. We're not going to craft. We're actually going to be synthesizing our gear. It's basically the same thing as crafting, but that's just what they call it in this game. And you'll notice from the inventory page, at the very bottom, you'll see the big red orangish button, the synthesize button, and that's the button we're going to be doing. So we're going to go ahead and click that, and you'll notice that it says synthesize equipment of the same grade and type to get equipment a grade higher. So you could feed in 4 2-stars to make a 3-star. You could feed in 4 3-stars to make a 4-star, and you can feed in 4 4-stars to make a 5-star. There is no way to make a 6-star at the recording of this video, so don't worry about that at the moment. So the goal here is to get as much 5-star equipment as you can for all your characters so they become as strong as possible. That way you can climb through harder to beat obstacles such as like 8-10 on hard mode, for example, which a lot of people found themselves stuck on. Having good 5-star gear is definitely one of the ways that you want to definitely go about trying to beat that type of stage. As well as being competitive in PvP for those of you that like to be a very big PvP player. And those that are trying to do as much damage as possible in raids, so you can get even more gear to keep the cycle going. So there are 3 different types of gear to understand when you're making these 4 or 5-star gears. So for one, you have the fodder gear. Basically, it's just additional EXP gear, which you can see here. This right here would classify as one. One of these would be as well. So there's those, all right? Those are the equipment that you get to drop from doing your dailies, from doing normal story mode and stuff like that, or hard story mode when you're doing your farming, et cetera, et cetera. You basically use those to feed in as EXP to other gear, okay? But I prefer to use those as my fodder when I'm making 5-star gear, and the reason why I do that is because sometimes I need some of my 4-star gear and I need to level cap it. And the only way to increase the level cap is to feed in dupes of that gear, and it has the substats that I need. These fodder EXP gear items do not have substats. So they're literally useless to use on a character outside of just a small base stat that they increase, which is usually not that great in the first place. So honestly, they're either good for using for EXP or for making higher tier gear, which I'm showing you guys today in today's video. So there's a tip there. It's just something that I like to personally do. You guys don't have to do it as well, but I feel that it's better to do that. That way you have a bunch of your other 4-star gear, your natural 4-star gear with substats. You can keep those in case you need them for later on, or whatever, or to raise level caps in case you don't have enough 5-star gear yet. So that's just one thing I want to talk about. Another type of gear that you could run into is element-based gear. That's gear like this right here, like my bow. See how it says it's a dark type? It even has the symbol in the top right corner. So what's different about that is that type of gear, you have to have 4 pieces of the same element to feed in. Otherwise, it won't let you. So if I want to feed this in, obviously, I could feed in these 3 as well because they're all the same grade. They're all 4 stars, and they're all max level 40, and they're all weapons. So all the requirements are checkmarked there. But if you notice, that bow is also a level 40 4-star weapon. But if I click it, you'll notice I can't add my other swords as well. And it's because this is an element-based gear. So that is something to consider. So if I want to actually make that a 5-star, I would need 3 other 4-star level 40 dark gear, dark weapons to be specific to feed in to make a 5-star. Now that 5-star gear does not mean it's going to be a dark element gear either. It could be any element gear or just a non-element gear at all. So it's not guaranteed just because you feed in 4 element-based gears that it's going to turn into a 5-star element-based gears. That's not how it works. The 5-star that you're creating is going to be completely random with random substats, okay? So that's one thing to also consider as well. And lastly, you can use, like I said earlier in the video, you can just use base gear, just normal 4-star gear. That is anything, you know, it's got some good substats, maybe it's got some bad substats that are garbage. You don't need it to level cap another gear, so you're just going to use that, max it to level 40, and feed it in. You can do that if you want, okay? So hopefully I didn't confuse any of you. If you do get confused or need kind of help, you can ask me in the comment section below, or of course, you can also join us in our Discord in the description below, and I can better help you there, as well as other members of the Discord community. So that's just something there for you guys. Hopefully I didn't confuse anyone, but that is the 3 types of gear that you can currently use to make 5-star gear. You know, again, just to rehash, there's element-based gear, which you're going to need 4 of the same element to feed that in, or you can use any combination of just fodder gear, regular gear, or fodder gear plus regular gear to make your 4 pieces of gear that you need. And you also need to make sure that when you're trying to make 4 pieces of gear, that they are all the same star level, the same max level 40, and the same weapon type. And it either has to be a weapon, an armor, or accessory. It can't be a mixed match of those or it won't work. So those are all things that you need to consider when you're trying to make 5-star gear, 4-star gear, or even 3-star gear. So that's just kind of how you would have to go about it. Another thing that some of you have been getting a little bit upset with, because I don't know if you didn't know or weren't paying attention, but please make sure that if you are using a 4-star piece of gear that's not fodder, like either an element-based piece of gear or a normal piece of gear that you get from raid or even maybe from story drops, if it is a 4-star, it'll automatically lock. So you have to make sure that it's unlocked, otherwise you won't see it when you go to synthesize to make a 5-star piece of gear. So make sure you know that. It's only for the 4 stars or higher guys. 3 stars won't lock, neither will 2 stars, so you don't have to worry about that. But you will have to unlock 4-star gear. Okay, now that we've said all of that, I have a few pieces of gear here ready for you guys to show you guys the whole system. So let's go ahead and jump in with our swords first. So I'm going to go ahead and feed 4 in. It's going to cost us 25,000 ARN or gold if you just want to keep it simple. And you'll see that we're going to be creating a 5-star sword. We don't know what kind it's going to be yet, but we're going to find out. And there we go. We got another world vendor. I think that's my 3rd or 4th world vendor. We don't know what the substats are quite yet, but we'll get to that in a second. Let's go ahead and make another piece of gear now. This time we're going to be making, I believe, a 5-star accessory. So, oops, I actually clicked armor, I believe. Yes, I did. Actually, I don't think we can. Nope. Sorry, guys. Looks like we're only going to be making 1 piece of gear today. I thought I had enough set up, but I didn't, so rip me. Anyways, let's exit out of that. Let's see what our new sword 5-star is and what its substats are. See how good or bad it may be. So, as you can see, our world vendor, level 1 out of 40, attack, base attack is 620. Our main raised level cap ability that we can actually, you know, upgrade by feeding more dupes in is healing ability percentage, 11.51%. Dealt damage increase rate, attack, and crit rate percentage are the additional substats. And unfortunately, that is not a very good piece of gear. It would have been better if the main substat would have been a DPS as well, because then it would have been a full, nice DPS piece of gear. It would have been really great for one of my heavy hitters, but unfortunately the main stat is a healing ability, so that kind of ruins it a little bit. Maybe you could put that on a character like possibly like Cicero or Damien, you know, tanks like that actually heal themselves. You know, that could be something. But putting that on one of my like support units that do just basically healing and support with barriers, defense, buffs, stuff like that, that's really not going to be a good piece of gear for them, because 3 of the 4 subsets are for solely DPS type characters. So this really is not a good 5-star. I'd probably just feed this into one of my other ones that I already have, which I'll show you guys. Let me actually go to weapons real quick. Let me go to only 5 stars. And you can see here, I already made a couple other ones. I have this one as well that I already currently have on my Cicero. It's not the best either, but that status effect success rate is really nice. And he does also have that main healing ability percentage on the substat as well. Accuracy and crit rate I could probably do without, but, you know, not too bad. It's the best I have. And then this one, of course, is another one, but it has double healing ability. So I definitely have that right now on my Sophia. But yeah, this one that we just created kind of turned out pretty bad. So what you want to do here is you can click unlock, go ahead here to my Cicero. As you can see, I already fed one dupe of that in before. We're going to go ahead and raise level cap again. We're going to go ahead and throw this in, spend that 20,000 gold. It's going to take it up to 17.54% healing ability on the main substat. And I can now take that piece of equipment up to level 50, which I don't know if I have enough gear to do that. I don't think. No. I think it's just going to feed in a bunch of 3-star fodders that I already had laying around that I don't really like to do. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to do it just to show you guys. So now I can go to level 50. So that's kind of the whole process of creating a 5-star piece of gear, how to feed in a 5-star piece of gear, to another 5-star piece of gear, etc., etc. So hopefully I explained everything in as good as detail as need be. If you guys, again, have any questions, you know where to find me in the Discord in the description below, or of course you can hit me up in the comment section below, and I'll try to get to you as best I can. And that's pretty much it. That's the process, guys. So hopefully a lot of you have been asking, how do you make 5-star equipment? How do you make 4-star? How do you make 3-star? Hopefully this answered all those questions and more, and you guys can go out there and start making some awesome gear. Hopefully you guys get some really good RNG on your gear builds, and you get some really, really nice pieces of gear collected for your favorite characters. So anyways, I'm going to be back with you guys with some more guides, tutorials, and gameplay and stuff like that for OVERHIT, as well as other games here on the channel. So be sure to subscribe, as always, for more. Like the video if you did, comment below. Like I said, join us in the Discord for like the 3rd time I said that in this video. And I'll catch you guys later. Have an awesome week from wherever you are. Until then, peace.